Okay, so find the 5-number summary for numbers below. And I even give you a list as a reminder here in the notes. It's the minimum, the quartile 1, the median, quartile 3, and the maximum. So let me remind you. So I want to find the minimum. Some people call this quarter 0. I'm going to find the first quartile. I'm going to find the median. Some people call this quarter 2. I'm going to find the third quartile. And let me find the maximum. Some people call this fourth quartile. All right, so first thing, now in this case, I have a list of numbers. Let me put my numbers in order. Okay, so let me put them in order from smallest to largest. So I'm going to put a 4, 5, 5, a 6, 7, 7, 12, 18, and 19. This is hard work. This is the hardest work that we have, putting the numbers in order, right? It's not too hard, but let me find my median, right? We did median yesterday, the number in the middle, right? If I was to cut this in the middle, now I happen to have 11 numbers. So it's an odd amount of numbers. My median is one of these numbers, right? The number in the middle will happen to be here. Boom. That's right. That one's the one in the middle. That's my median. Now, to the left of my median, you guys see a 4, 5, 5, 5. To the left of the median, let me find the number in the middle. Right, I have 5 numbers. Like I said, I'm looking on the left. I'm looking at these numbers. There happen to be 5 numbers, which is an odd number. So my median is one of those numbers. So in this case, the middle is this right here. Now, to the right of my median, so I'm looking at these 5 numbers here. Let me find the number in the middle. So it happens to be this 12. Okay, so I'm good to answer my 5-number summary. Quarter 0, it's my smallest number of the list. So I'm gonna say, let me answer in blue. My quarter 0, my minimum is 4. It's the smallest number of the list. Quarter 1, it's right here. My first quartile is 5. My median, or my second quarter, let me write this quarter 2 right here, is 6. My quarter 3, you guys can see that's what I was making this lines. Quarter 3 is right here. In this case, happens to be 12. So my third quartile is 12. And my maximum, or quarter 4, like people say, it is the biggest number. The number at the end is 19. Now, one thing, I don't have it here, but asking for the 5-number summary, I could ask you for the interquartile range. Remember, for interquartile range, I have to go quarter 3 minus quarter 1. I have my numbers here. So I'm just going to go 12 minus 5, which is 7. So interquartile range is quarter 3 minus quarter 1. It's very interesting. So this is actually fun. If I give you, because this thing deals with quarter 1 and quarter 3. If I give you only one value, right, only quarter 1 or only quarter 3, if I give you one of those values and I give you the interquartile range, you can find for the other value. You might be, Mr. Leonzo, what do you mean with this? Let's say I didn't give you a list. And let's say I don't give you quarter 1. I just tell you, so this is going to be fun to play with. I just tell you quarter 3 is 12. Interquartile range is 7. What if I was to just give you that information? And then I ask you, what's quarter 1? So let me do first quartile and put a question mark because we don't know. Then you will say, let me call this x, because in algebra, when we don't know the value of something is x. Remember, interquartile range is quarter 3 minus quarter 1. So can we go 7 is equal to 12 minus x, right? Interquartile range is equal to quarter 3 minus quarter 1. Now we know algebra. We know algebra 1. Let me subtract the 12 from each side. So I get -5 is equal to negative x. So that means 5 is equal to x. Nice. Okay, you might be thinking, why are you saying this, Mr. Leonzo? Because I will deal with this later on as well. I might ask you to find quarter 1 or quarter 3. But I'm going to give you the other one and the interquartile range. This is how I want us to practice for interquartile range later. Okay, so make sure you guys know that. All right, let's take a look at question number 10. I'm going to put my numbers in order from smallest to largest. Let's use black for this. So I'm going to go 32, 43, 45, 45, 45, another 45, and then 50, 50, 53, and 53. Okay, so I put all my numbers in order. Let me draw a line right in the middle, because that's my median. Funny thing is there's 10 numbers, right? There's 10, if you see my list, it's a list of 10 numbers. So the middle will be right here. Notice how there's 5 numbers on the left, and there's the same amount of numbers on the right. My median, or quarter 2, some people call this median or quarter 2, it's right there. Is the number in between 45 and 45. Because my list is an even number, right? I have 10 numbers, it's an even numbered. My median is a line that does not cross one of these numbers. Now let me take a look at the numbers on the left. So I'm looking at the numbers on the left, and let me cross out the one number in the middle, right? There's 5 numbers. So it's an odd number. My median of those will be one of those numbers. So right in the middle, it's this right here. This is my quarter 1. Now let me take a look on the right of quarter 2. So I'm talking about this list. Now let me draw a line that goes right in the middle. There's 5 numbers. It's an odd numbered. So yeah, it will be here. When I mean odd numbered, 5 odd numbered, it's how many numbers on that list. And this is my quarter 3. Okay, so let me see what I need to find. I need to find my minimum. Some people like to call this quarter 0. There's my first quartile, so quarter 1. I need to find my median. Some people like to call this quarter 2. I need to find my third quartile, and I need to find my maximum. Some people like to call this quarter 4. So my minimum, my smallest number. So in this case, 32. My quarter 1, we can see here it is 45. My median, or quarter 2, let me focus right here. It's the number, right? Notice how my line is in between 45 and 45. So it's the number between 45 and 45. It's the same number. So I'm just going to say 45. If you don't believe me, just add the 2 numbers, 45 plus 45, and divide it by 2. And that's how you're going to get it's 45. My quarter 3, I can tell it's 50, right? You guys can see this line right here. That's quarter 3. My maximum, the biggest number on the list, is 53. Now, I could ask you for the interquartile range. Remember, that's quarter 3 minus quarter 1. So I'm looking at 50 minus 45. In this case, 5. Now we can come up with a list. I could give you a list and I could ask you for the minimum, quarter 1, medium, quarter 3, and maximum, or the interquartile range. Yesterday we saw, what if I give you a box? What I mean with yesterday, remember how we read this question right here for number 8? Okay. Now let's move on today. Let's take a look at number 11. Okay, so let me draw a box and whisker plot for each data set. What I'm going to do, let me do my numbers in order here. So I'm gonna write them in order. 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 12, 12, 14, and 15. My list is 9 numbers. It's an odd number. So my quarter 2, or my median, is one of those numbers. It's the number in the middle because it's an odd number. Right? If I had an even number, I will say my median will be in between 2 of these numbers. Now the number in the middle, in this case, is 9. That's my median, or quarter 2. From the numbers on the left of my median, there's 4 numbers, right? When I'm looking at it, I'm looking at this list. There's 4 numbers to the left of my median. So let me draw a line right in the middle. Okay, so in this case, it will be right here. It was an even number, right? There were 4 numbers on the list. So I'm gonna say, well, it's gonna be in between 2 of those values. Now on the right of my median, so I'm looking at these 4 numbers. Let me draw a line right in the middle. Because there's 4 numbers, right? An even amount of numbers. My line is gonna be in between 2 numbers. So the middle will be right here. And this is my quarter 1, quarter 2, and quarter 3. The minimum and maximum, we know how to identify those. So let me come back. I can create a list, right? What we saw, question number 9 and 10, I can create a list. I can find the minimum, or quarter 0. I can find my first quartile. I can find the median, better known as quarter 2. I can find my third quartile, and I can find my maximum, or like some people like to call, quarter 4. Right? Remember how we saw this before. The minimum, the smallest number, it is a 2. My first quartile in this case is the number between 3 and 4. So let me call that 3.5. My median, the number in the middle, is 9. My quarter 3, notice it's in between 12 and 14. Let me call that 13. And maximum, the biggest number, it is 15. Now, I can give you the list of numbers and you can easily find the 5-number summary, or I can give you the summary here. Let's say I give you the summary here, and then let's say I don't give you quarter 3. I want to play a little. Let's say I don't give you quarter 3 and I don't give you the list. So the list right here, let's assume is not there, okay? Because some questions you're gonna do that. You're gonna give just the list, but I'm gonna skip a number. But I'm gonna help you decide. And let's say I came over and said the IQR, the interquartile range. Let's say I came out with that, and then I said the interquartile range, let's say, is 9.5. But I don't give you quarter 3. Figure it out. Now, interquartile range, you know it's quarter 3 minus quarter 1. We know that quarter 1 is 3.5. Quarter 3, we don't know, so let me call it x. So I'm just going to say 9.5, it's equal to x minus 3.5, right? Interquartile range is quarter 3 minus quarter 1. This minus 3.5, let me move it over as plus 3.5, and we're going to get that 13 is equal to x. So sometimes on your list, I'm not going to give you quarter 1 or quarter 3. I'm just going to give you 1. but I'll give you the interquartile range. I want us to practice a little. Okay, but now the question here was not complete the list. The instructions here were draw a box and whisker plot. Okay, so you guys will see on your screen that you guys have to move some points. So I'm gonna do my number line. The numbers that I need are 2. Here's 2. I need 3.5, which is basically in between 3 and 4. Right, 3.5 is right in between 3 and 4. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need 9. Let's see, 10, 11, 12. I need 13. And then I need 15. Now the numbers that I need are the numbers from my list. And what I mean list is this one. Those are the numbers that I need. The way I'm gonna do this, my minimum point, my minimum value, I'm gonna represent this with a point. My maximum value, I'm also gonna represent this with a point. So minimum and maximum are represented as points. Now quartile 1, median, and quartile 3 are represented as little lines. So quartile 1 is 3.5, so that's about here in between 3 and 4. Quartile 9 and quartile 2, which is 9, and quartile 3, which is 13. So again, my minimum and my maximum were represented as points. Quartile 1, medium, and quartile 3 were represented as little lines. Now these little lines, I want to close them up as a box. In your homework, you're going to be able to move those lines. You guys can see the box already made in your homework. You're going to have to move those around. Now, let me connect this box with a little line here that looks like a whisker. That's why we call this the box and whisker plot. You see how there's a box in the center and then whiskers at the sides. So box and whisker. All right, let's take a look at question number 2. I can give you a list and I'm gonna ask you list them all from small to large. So 163, 169, 169, 173, 173, 173, 174, 177, 183, and 183. There's 10 numbers on my list. Okay, so let me find in the middle, right? My list is an even number. So my line in the middle is not going to go through a number. It's going to go in between 2 numbers. So let me just draw a line in the middle, which is right here. Right, it goes in between 2 numbers. Now to the left of it, right, because that's my median. So matter of fact, let me call this quarter 2 or median. To the left of it, there's 5 numbers. Let me find the number in the middle. So let me call this quarter 1. To the right of my median, there's 5 numbers as well. To the right of my median. Let me find the number in the middle. We call this quarter 3. So I can give you a list and you can see the minimum value is 163, the maximum value is 183. And you can draw your box and whiskers. But sometimes I might give you a list instead. We can find on our list, our minimum is 163, the smallest number. Quartile 1 is 169. Quartile 2, or the median, some people call this median, some people call it quartile 2. It's you see it's in between 173 and 173. So I'm asking what's in between 173 and 173? Well, it's the same number, so I'm just going to copy it down, 173. The numbers were not the same. I could just add them and divide it by 2. But if I do that, if I add my numbers divided by 2, I still get 173. My quartile 3, you guys see, is 177. And my maximum, some people call this quarter 4, my maximum is the biggest number, 183. So if I give you a list, you can easily get the 5-number summary. But I said in your homework, I want us to play a little. I can come over, let me take the list out. Let me just give you the 5-number summary. And let's say in this one, I don't want to give you quarter one. All right, let's just say I tell you at the side that your interquartile range is 8. So I don't give you the list, and I don't give you one of the values. I just tell you the interquartile range, in this case, is 8. You remember the interquartile range, let me write that here at the side. Interquartile range is quarter 3 minus quarter 1. So I'm going to say 8 is equal to 177 minus, okay, I don't know quarter 1, so I'm going to call it x. So if I erase one of the numbers from the list, but I give you the interquartile range, then we can solve for either quarter 1 or quarter 3. Okay, so let me subtract 177. So on the right side, I have negative x. Now 8 minus 177, we know that's a negative 169. Let me get rid of the negatives, right? Let me divide both sides by -1. That's how we get rid of the negatives. And I get 169 is equal to x. Okay, we knew that from the list. But again, to play around, sometimes I'm not going to give you the list. I'm just going to give you the 5-number summary. But I'm going to take either quarter 1 or quarter 3 out. But I'll give you the interquartile range. I want you to practice. Okay, now that we have the 5-number summary, I can easily draw box and whisker. I'm just going to draw my number line. Let me do black for my number line here. In my number line, I need to make sure to identify 163. I need to identify 169. I need to identify 173, 177, and 183. I need to identify the 5 numbers from my list. At the smallest and the biggest number, I'm going to represent those with dots. The smallest and the biggest. Now, quarter 1, quarter 2, and quarter 3 are going to be represented as little lines. So 169, 173, 177. They're represented as little lines. So something like this. My lines in the middle, I'm going to close them as a box. And then I'm going to connect them to look like a box and whiskers. Now, sometimes my minimum and quarter 1 could be the same thing. So sometimes you're going to get figures that might look like this. Notice how quarter 1 and my minimum are the same number. That might happen. Or my maximum and quarter 3 might be the same number. So that might happen. So don't be surprised if that happens. All right, so let me zoom out. That way you guys can see what we did today. There we go.